Hello everybody, my name is Nairi. Today's video is all about the highs and lows of parenting. In particular, I've got two adopted sons, so I want to tell you a little story about that. It made me think very much about the highs and lows of parenting. Recently, we had a nice party. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold, but we had a nice party and I took my sons along. They dressed up smartly. They behaved brilliantly. They actually enjoyed it because I don't really enjoy social situations. And Tim and I had a really nice time bonding with them as well because it was a bit of a journey to get there and back, and we just had a bit of fun together. They kept themselves to themselves. They didn't mix that much, but we didn't have any issues, any problems. And my husband and I said to ourselves, isn't it lovely? Don't you feel proud of them tonight? Don't they look lovely? Don't they look like they're kind of fitting in fine? Etc, etc. Well, we jinxed that, didn't we? We jinxed it. The following day, it was a day of all days, really. I don't think we could quite believe it. So the first thing that happened is we had a parent message my husband about the younger son saying, my daughter is really upset, is petrified of your son. He keeps stalking her, saying this, saying that, and doing the other, blah, blah, blah. Now, how much of that is true, I don't know. I'm sure there will be an element of the fact that there's two sides of a story, but it was enough, obviously, for the parent to message my husband. Later on that evening, we had another message through from a different parent about the other son. And in that message was a whole load of foul language that he'd been using to her daughter. Again, there is two sides of this story, okay? I don't want you to think that I am dropping my sons in it, because I know there's two sides of the story, particularly to the second bit, because I know there have been issues around this other child. So it's not just my son, okay? But the language was shocking. My husband and I were like, well, we were just really down because we don't use language like that. And we were just really down. We just were surprised, not shocked maybe, but down. And I think this is a reality video. This is an honesty video, because it's very easy, of course, to watch all the vlogs of people having wonderful family times and lovely tidy family homes and going places and going on holidays and all the happy times and fun and memories and things. And I think I've got loads of happy memories. I've got 5 biological children and 2 adopted sons. I've got loads of happy memories, and I have lovely times when the family gets together now. We have a great time sometimes. We laugh about so many things. We've got quite a sense of humour in our family and lots of interests and things. So we have great times together. But there have been times, even with my biological children, when things have been really tough. And I think what I want to sort of bring out from this video is you can only do your best as a parent. And sometimes your best is not good enough. And I know sometimes my biological children have said, oh, do you remember when you did this? Why did you do that? Why did you dress me like that? Oh, I didn't really like it when you took us there, or you did that with us. And you look back and you think, I don't even remember it, let alone know that I might have done something wrong. You can't be a perfect parent. You can't actually know sometimes if you're making the right decision about things. You can only do your best. And on reflection, because I'm an old bird now, looking back, I used to worry about things that I didn't need to worry about. There is even an entry from my middle daughter, who's late 20s now, saying, Mum is worrying about things that she doesn't need to worry about. And I'm still like that now. I worry about everything about my children. My children are precious to me, but I can worry as much as I like, and I can't change everything. Now, this channel is generally around adoption, childhood trauma, fostering, and children that have been through a lot. And so what I want to say is, even more so perhaps when it comes to children that have gone through childhood trauma, I've said it before, you can't make all the difference. You can't parent perfectly. You can do therapeutic parenting, you can do gentle parenting, you can guide them. And when they're little, I think it's more of a physical process where you're running around after them and getting everything ready. They don't do anything for themselves. You know, it's chaos, it's messy, and physically exhausting. I think as they get older, there's more mental exhaustion around it, because you realize that you can take a horse to water but you can't make it drink. So often I will say to my boys, could you please make sure that you do this, because it's really important that you do it. And I can say that 10 times, but then you get to the point where you realize that it's going to be down to them to make that decision. And we talk to our boys about these situations that they've got themselves in. And I will say, particularly with the younger ones, sometimes I do think they like the negative attention. I know that's not a very nice thing to say. I am not dropping them in it, but I think it's the reality of it. And sometimes you have to sort of remind them that they are growing up. They're teenagers now, and they can't go through life looking for negative attention or any attention and try to do things to bring that on themselves. However, it's going to be their decision. My boys are 13 and 14 now, and next year they're going to be 14 and 15. It's time for them to start making their own decisions and finding their own way. Now, I find with my adult children now that they sometimes go through a period of time when they don't want you at all. Literally, they just don't get in touch. They don't want you at all. They're finding their own way into adulthood and they want to make their own decisions. And then you'll have a period of time when they want you a lot and they're asking you questions and you're trying to guide them and help them. But still, the reality is, especially I think when they find partners and husbands, they're going to make their own decisions, and sometimes those decisions will hurt you. Sometimes you'll look and think, but I never brought you up that way. I never sort of showed you that way. I don't understand why you're doing that. But it's their decision. It's their life, and we're all individuals. And sometimes you will go through extremely hard times with your children. And I know that one of the things that I often do is blame myself. So we've had lots of situations in our family recently that have been very, very difficult and heartbreaking, and I will often blame myself and think, well, maybe if I'd said this at this point, maybe if I'd noticed that, maybe if I'd gone there and done that, then none of this would have happened. But I know in reality that's not the truth. But you can't make those things happen, and often in life circumstances happen out of your control, especially as your children become adults. So I guess what I'm trying to say is take the highs and enjoy them and nurture and embrace them, but accept that there will be lows, and no matter what you do, how good you are, how good a parent you are, bad things will happen sometimes to your children and you can't do anything about it. And actually the surprise in a way is sometimes the bad things are very unexpected and are not the children or the times that we think they're going to happen. They come out of the blue and knock us sideways. And I think this is perhaps where you need to have that strong other person. No, it may be that you're single and it's not going to be a partner or a husband, but you need to have an open dialogue with someone. Now, for me, that is my husband, and my mum's very good as well. But for you, it might be a really good friend that you've had for years, or it might be that you need to find that person. And the other thing for me is I need my kind of stress reliever, and for me that's now become my hobbies and things that I can do, sort of tactile things with my hands. Because if you dwell on just being a parent, if you spend all your time just making your home nice and thinking that you've done everything perfectly for your children, their packed lunches are perfect, their uniform is squeaky clean, they're doing marvellously at school. I mean, probably if you're watching this channel regularly, you're not in that situation with the children that you are looking after, but you do everything you possibly can to make sure you're in contact with school and you're getting the friendships there for them. Still, things can go badly wrong, and you do have to take the highs with the lows. So I hope that's a nice reality honesty video for you. Check out my channel. There's lots of information, particularly on adoption, but also that would be relevant to foster carers and anybody working with children with childhood trauma. And I'll see you on Fly Little Birds. Thank you.